The jungle was silent beneath the moonlight, a thick veil of mist rolling over the tall grass and weaving between the trees. A lone lion, his golden mane darkened by the night, prowled through the shadows. His muscles rippled beneath his coat as he moved, powerful and unchallenged, the undisputed ruler of this land. But tonight, something unnatural lurked in the darkness, something that did not belong. A rustle in the undergrowth made his ears twitch, his nose flaring as he caught a scent unfamiliar and wrong. He turned sharply, his fangs bared in warning. Then, before he could react, a shape lunged from the shadows. A creature, black as the abyss, with spindly limbs and an unnatural elegance. Its fingers wrapped around his face before he could so much as snarl. A nightmarish appendage latched onto him, sealing itself around his muzzle. His body seized, his lungs burned, and within moments, everything faded into blackness. When he awoke, the jungle was still. The morning sun cast long shadows across the earth, the damp scent of dew hanging in the air. The lion staggered to his feet, shaking his head in confusion. His memories were fragmented. Something had attacked him, something monstrous. Yet, as he breathed in deeply, he could sense no immediate danger. But something was wrong. A strange discomfort twisted in his belly, deep and unnatural. It wasn't hunger. It wasn't pain. It was something else. His instincts screamed at him, but no logical thought could define the feeling. He padded forward, each step feeling heavier than the last. Then, as the morning passed, the sensation grew stronger. His stomach churned, a tightness building within, and then movement. His breath hitched, a ripple beneath his skin, a subtle but unmistakable shifting. His own body betrayed him, pulsing with something foreign. Panic welled in his chest, but there was no escaping it. The movements grew bolder, rolling beneath his fur, stretching and twisting his flesh in ways it never should. He grunted, his powerful form trembling as he watched his own belly undulate, the sinews beneath strained by something alive. Hours passed, and the sensation became relentless. His ribs ached, his breathing labored as something pushed inside, pressing against his organs. The creature within was growing. His once proud frame was no longer his own. It belonged to something else now, something that used him as nothing more than a vessel. He lay on his side, his chest rising and falling in shallow pants, the weight of his unnatural pregnancy bearing down on him. Then the pain began, a sharp jab beneath his ribs, a stretching pressure that made his claws dig into the earth. He growled, his body convulsing as something forced itself upward. The pressure mounted, agony rippling through his core as the thing inside clawed for its escape. His vision blurred. Saliva dripped from his fangs as he let out a deep, guttural roar, one last act of defiance against the horror taking place within him. His ribs bowed outward, his flesh stretched to its limits before. A sickening crack, a wet, tearing sound, and then the lion's mighty roar turned to a gurgling whimper as something erupted from his chest, drenched in blood and viscera. The tiny creature, glistening black and slick with life, wriggled free from the carnage. It raised its eyeless head, jaws snapping in the cool morning air. The lion's body shuddered once, then fell still, his golden eyes fading to emptiness as the jungle reclaimed its silence once more. The birth was complete, and the hunt would soon begin again. The newborn xenomorph twitched and shifted, its tiny limbs stretching as it took its first breaths. The air carried the scent of fresh death, and instinct awakened within its fragile form. The slick body pulsed, its rapid growth already beginning. The jungle, once the lion's domain, would now be its feeding ground. Hours passed, and the infant horror was no longer small. Its chitinous body elongated, its limbs strengthening, the inner workings of its mind forming thoughts that were more than hunger. It understood its purpose. It had been born to spread, to thrive, to conquer. The xenomorph's senses sharpened. It could hear the distant sounds of movement, unsuspecting prey wandering through the undergrowth. A pride of lions, the fallen king's own kin, moved through the land, oblivious to what had taken place. The beast's elongated head lifted, its lipless mouth curling back in silent anticipation. Its tail slithered through the grass, its body melting into the darkness. The jungle would know terror like never before. The first hunt was about to begin. As the creature lurked through the undergrowth, its body adapted quickly to its surroundings. Its limbs strengthened, its exoskeleton hardened, and a sinister intelligence gleamed within its eyeless face. The scent of its next prey filled its senses, and a primal hunger overtook all else. The lions, unaware of their fallen leader's gruesome fate, lounged in the clearing. A mother watched over her cubs, her ears flicking as the wind shifted. Another lion, younger and strong, sniffed the air, sensing something amiss but unable to comprehend the horror that approached. The xenomorph moved like a shadow, silent and deadly, its elongated fingers flexed, razor-sharp claws gleaming under the moonlight. Then it struck. With terrifying speed, it leaped from the grass, its coiled muscles releasing like a spring. The young lion barely had time to react before the creature's tail coiled around his throat, cutting off his air in a strangled gasp. His eyes widened in panic as his claws swiped at the inky black form constricting him. But the beast was relentless. The mother lion roared, leaping forward, her powerful jaws aiming for the nightmare that threatened her kin. But the xenomorph anticipated her move. With a fluid motion, it spun, releasing the young lion and slashing across her flank with its dagger-like claws. She stumbled back, a deep wound gaping in her golden fur. Blood spilled onto the earth, and a deathly silence fell over the pride. Then chaos erupted. The lions fought back, their roars echoing through the night, but against the perfect predator, they stood no chance. One by one, they fell, their powerful bodies unable to match the speed and ferocity of the alien horror. The xenomorph moved with lethal precision, each strike calculated, each kill executed with merciless efficiency. When the last lion fell, the creature stood amidst the carnage, blood soaking its sleek, black form. It had grown stronger, faster, deadlier. The jungle was no longer ruled by lions. A new apex predator had taken its place. And this was only the beginning. The stars above watched in silence as the xenomorph disappeared into the darkness, its hunger unquenchable, its purpose undeniable. The jungle would never be the same again.